It's 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony. Until one day, a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
You've been knocked down and got up again. In the corner, you're surrounded, no defenders. You've hit your fury and kept it in. But it's time now, you ignite and turn to embers. Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Game Week 28 deadline stream. 2 hours to go until the deadline. My transfer's already locked in, so it's going to be a pretty chill one for me. I've said chill quite a lot this past week about FPL. That's how I feel about FPL in March. My transfers are locked in for 28. My chip strategy is locked in. I know like 8 or 9 of my free hit players for 29. So really, I'm just waiting for Game Week 30 at this point, which is about 3 weeks away. So anyway, hope you're all doing well. My transfers, as talked about a lot this week, were Dubravka to Neto. I tell you what, when I sold Dubravka to Neto, I straight away regretted it a little bit. I was thinking maybe I should have sold Areola. I would have had an extra 0.1 million to spend. And if Dubravka ends up making it all the way to double game week 34, then I'll probably regret that. But I don't know. I'm hoping that Nick Pope will be back sooner and take Dubravka's place, and that transfer will look a little bit better. And then Zabani in for Charlie Taylor. So I probably can't get Salah without a hit now in game week 30, and I'll probably just wait to make that move until game week 31. But we'll see. There are -4s I can take for Salah in 30 if I need to. Alex, how's it going? A bit early today. Yeah, a little bit early today. I don't know. I used to do 2 hours before the deadline, then I stopped at an hour and a half. I had a bit of extra time today. I was up earlier. The dog's been walked already. She's had her 4 kilometers. So I'm ready to go. Tony to Solanke for a -4. No free hit 29. Have Morris already. For a -4. I mean, Solanke should be one of the priority transfers for me. So I wonder what the other transfer was. But I probably would get Solanke for captaincy, to be honest. I mean, if you're happy to captain Morris, then maybe go without him. But it feels a bit risky. Am I keeping Saka? Yes, 100%. Although I just realised my... Last night when I bought Neto in, I thought I had him in my first 11, then I went back and checked and he wasn't there. And now I changed vice captaincy this morning, it didn't save, so I'm going to save it now. Let me just refresh that. Yeah. So basically a -4 to bench Saliba and Areola. That is going to go horribly wrong. But look, I'm happy enough. I got the 3 Bournemouth. Hopefully they'll double in 34, because if they do, then bringing them in for a hit this week was a good move. But it's not guaranteed at all, unfortunately. It's a shame. But we'll have the fixtures hopefully before game week 30. And if that's the case, we'll be able to plan a little bit better. Planning to do Solanke to Tony for 29. Who would you rather have long term if you plan to free hit 34? I mean, Solanke is going to have another double game week at some point. And the fixtures are pretty good. So maybe Solanke. But to be honest, up until 34, I think Tony's fixtures are proper decent, aren't they? Did I go early for the price changes? Yes, I went early for the price changes. Neto and Zamani both went up in price. I don't think Charlie Taylor or Dubravka dropped in price, but the other 2 went up. So, and I knew I was going to bring them in anyway, so it made sense to get them early. I'm not against slightly early. I mean, going on Friday evening is not exactly massively early, but whatever, we'll take it. I haven't gone before Friday in terms of transfers many times this season. I did transfer Trippier in one Sunday evening once. Is having 3 Bournemouth and 3 Luton too much? I wouldn't say so. Ake, Foden, Haaland to Doughty, Bowen, Morris, -8. No free hit 29. I would consider that, yeah. But again, what's the free hit being saved for? You know what I mean? You're already having to take an 8-point hit. You probably don't have 11 players still. Could a free hit be better? Quite possibly. Who's the second best keeper besides Neto to have on game week 28 wildcard, considering a potential double game week 34? Well, the problem is you need someone that plays in 29 preferably, right? So you're kind of locked into that. Like you could go for Vicario, who plays in 29 and will have a double game week later, but probably not in game week 34. I'm not sure Spurs can double in 34 at all, to be honest. I don't think they can. I mean, I think for most wildcard 28, unless you're going to free hit in 29, you've probably just got to make a goalkeeper transfer later. So I would just get someone that you're happy with in 29. That bench looks boostable. Yeah, potentially. The thing is, I'm pretty sure people are going to wildcard in 30 and 31 for a very similar front seven to what I'm going to have. Like most people are going to wildcard into Haaland, Salah, and then like 2 or 3 of Foden, Son, Saka, etc. Maybe a few more Man United players or Newcastle players, right? But I don't think I'm going to lose out too much from the wildcarders, which means a late wildcard for me is probably what's going to work best. And if I've got my bench boost for 37, I'm going to wildcard in 35, 36. There's just no point even thinking about the bench boost now. I do think for a single game week, it's not that far off. But I probably won't wildcard till 35, 36. There's no point in holding it that late if I'm then going to bench boost now, to be honest. Bench Foden or Gross? Bench Foden last week. I'd probably play Gross for the good home fixture. I think my general thoughts on Man City players is don't force a move where you have to bench them. Like, if you have to play Haaland, Foden, De Bruyne, etc. this week, there is no issue with that whatsoever. Like, I've seen some people, for example, that are playing Foden and they've got Richarlison, who's obviously injured. Like, I wouldn't take a hit just to bench Foden, right? I don't think they're bad options this week. But if you've got someone you can play instead and you're happy to risk that, then by all means, go for it. I can't remember what it was the Gross versus Foden. I think I would go for Gross against Forest at home over Foden against Liverpool away, especially when Gross is on penalties with João Pedro out. Would you play Porro over Pau Torres this week? Yes. Yeah. Because there's probably like small doubts over both. I think they'll both start for what it's worth, but there's probably small doubts because Porro's only just back. Pau Torres only played 45 midweek, but I think both teams concede, so I'd just go for the attacking threat. Haaland out for a hit. I think it's a perfectly good move if you're not free hitting in 29, to be honest with you. Look, it's easy to say because I'm not doing it, but I really think the damage that Haaland's going to do to people that sell him is probably minimal. Like, is he going to score a hat-trick against Liverpool? I think you could consider yourself unlucky if that happens. Worth taking a -8 to get Solanke in and get 9 players in 29 to save the free hit. Again, it's hard to know without all your moves, right? What your moves this week, next week, etc. But you're already taking a -8, and you're 2 players down. Like that sounds like free hit territory to me. I will just say, right, this is not like a cop out answer. It's really hard to give broad advice on chips because even like a couple of players difference will make a difference. A couple of players you've got that someone else doesn't will make a difference to whether or not you should probably free hit. But I just think if you free hit, you're already saving 8 points, and you've got 2 extra players in 29. I mean, that's already getting close to being worth it. And if you do free hit, you can probably make better choices for this week as well. So I don't know. I guess the question is, what are you putting free hit off for? I mean, just one free hit or wildcard after 29 will be enough to manage the rest of the season, I think. I still love wildcard 30, 31, free hit 34, bench boost 37. I'm not trying to sit here and pretend that strategy is now bad. It is absolutely not. But when people are taking like -8s and then maybe another -4 in 29, they've only got 8 or 9 players. Like, is a chip going to be worth more than that? Probably. Is Hee-Chan Huang? I always mess that up when I'm recording videos. I don't mess up how I say it, but it just doesn't ever sound right. To Tavernier, worth it for a -4. Well, that will come down to who you're benching, right? Because if you're having to play Huang, who's injured, then yes. But if you're taking a -4 to maybe bench Foden, is that worth it? Possibly not. I'm not bench boosting, no. I'm bench boosting in game week 37. I'm pretty locked in with this strategy now. It's not a case that bench boost 37 is guaranteed to be successful, but I've never, like, lots of people over the last few seasons have wildcarded into a bench boost with 4 double game weeks. I've never done that never, ever, I don't think, in FPL. So I'm kind of, because of the way the fixtures have fallen, because Arsenal and Chelsea didn't go into 29, because I'm free hitting now in 29, I'm kind of just happy to give that strategy a go. So it's pretty much planned out now, right? I've bought my 2 Bournemouth players in this week. I will hope that they double in 34. It's not guaranteed. Free hit 29. My transfers from 30 to 34 will essentially be, do I get Salah in? Probably. And then the rest of the transfers will all be to buy double game week 34 players. And then I will wildcard in 35 or 36. That is not locked in yet. There's just no point in stressing over that. And the deciding factor over whether to wildcard in 35 or 36 will pretty much be down to, I can't remember the fixture. I think it's Brighton versus Chelsea now that most of the fixture gurus are saying will go into the odd game week. So whichever, if that goes into 35, I'll wildcard in 35. If it goes into 36, I'll wildcard in 36. My preference, I think, is for that fixture to go into 36. Because Man United and Newcastle, if they double in 34, will also have a good fixture in Game Week 35. But honestly, it really just doesn't matter right now. So that's the general strategy. Bench Douglas Luiz or Foden. Oh, that's a really tough one. At home to Spurs, definitely on penalties. I think I'd play Foden. But maybe subconsciously it's because I've been not against Douglas Luiz all season, but more against than others, maybe. Fazy, how's it going? Thanks for all your efforts to help us. I don't know if I ever really that helpful, but appreciate it. Would you still bench Foden if you had Odegaard in your team as opposed to Bruno? Yeah, I think so. If we beat Leicester in the Cup, I think it makes it a small double. Yeah, and that's pretty likely to happen. I mean, Leeds got close-ish to beating Chelsea, so Leicester, maybe. But Chelsea at home, right? They're going to be odds-on favourites to win that. Ake to Doughty or Dubravka to Neto -4 or both -8. I mean, I've taken a -4 to do Dubravka to Neto, so I can't really talk people out of that. Ake to Doughty. I mean, if you're not on free hit 29, then I'd be tempted to do that. If you are, maybe less so. I can't decide between Zabani or Doughty. I'm free hitting in 29. I mean, for me, then it's definitely Zabani. Like, I know that Doughty is attacking, but he's not so attacking that I would take him over the what's it called? The fixtures. The fixtures for Bournemouth. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Where have I lost the chat to now? Bench De Bruyne, Foden or Palmer. Am I really going to bench De Bruyne over Foden? Do we really think Foden is better than De Bruyne now? Maybe he is. I think I'd bench De Bruyne. I don't think that Foden is a better player than De Bruyne, right? But for FPL, I mean, Foden seems to be getting more chances closer to goal. I mean, De Bruyne is no slouch at scoring from range. Don't get me wrong. I mean, of course he can get into the box and score, but I think we might be at the point where Foden's a better FPL option than De Bruyne right now. What's my route to Salah? I probably won't get him in 30. I think for me, right, on that, I think I said this on a members stream yesterday. No strategy is going to be perfect. At some point, you will have to make a sacrifice. That's either hits, that's not having as many double game week players, or just having a game week where your team doesn't look so good. So for my team, that is mostly going to be game week 30. My team will not look good that week. I already know that, especially if Trent Alexander-Arnold is back, because if he is, Bradley's not going to play. So I've got Zabani against Everton at home. And to be honest, right, on paper, Bournemouth's fixtures aren't bad, but I'm not expecting massive amounts of clean sheets necessarily. But Everton at home for Zabani. And then, as you know now, because I've probably bored you to death with it, double Arsenal against Man City and Doughty against Luton. So my defence is going to be terrible. I'm also going to have Foden, Harden and Saka in that fixture. I mean, I could bench one of Saka or Foden, I guess. But ultimately, in Game Week 30, my team's not going to look that good. So I could get Salah in that week, to come back to the question, but it would be for a -4. And I think, as it stands right now, I'm happy enough to captain Son against Luton. So my move for Salah will be to get him for for free in Game Week 31, potentially a -4. That will all come down to the fixtures, right? So if, for example, okay, so let's just have a look here, right? By the way, one thing I overlooked, which I mentioned on Twitter, Fernandes is on 8 yellow cards. He only needs 2 more by game week 33, and he gets a 2-game suspension. So let's just say I sell Fernandes, which I think is quite likely. Salah comes in. If Isak ends up doubling in... if Isak ends up doubling in 34, then I might want to get him for Watkins. So I've got to make up 2.1 million. So it could be like Foden down to Garnacho to get that Man United player in for their double as well. It could be like a -4 like that. I could keep Foden and sell Son instead. And obviously then it's less... it's a bit more money to spare. I don't really know right now. I do think that people that wildcard will be able to structure their squad a little bit better. I think because I've got Fernandes over a cheap midfielder alongside Palmer, it's a bit more difficult for me to get Salah in. But essentially, I can do it in 2 moves. It just depends how much I want players like Isak. Because I think right now, if Man United and Newcastle both double in game week 34, I think a lot of people are going to want Haaland, Isak, and Højlund, right? Which I know no one's thinking about him right now, but I think a lot of people will want that front line. Now, if I want that front line, I've got to take some money out of somewhere, maybe Saliba, to be able to fund Salah. So it might have to be that Son goes instead. So, and I keep Fernandes. Like that's potential. So the long and the short of it is, I've got ways to get Salah for free in 31. I've got ways to get Salah for a better structure for a -4. That's going to be the plan. I probably won't get him for 30, but who knows? Maybe I'll end up wildcarding in game week 30, right? You just don't know how the fixtures are going to fall and if that will make sense. Probably not for what it's worth, but we'll see. Gusto's a very tidy enabler. Yeah, I mean, I could do Saliba to Gusto. That's definitely a move I consider. Either way, I think lots of injuries or suspensions would have to happen for me to keep Watkins for the rest of the season. I just don't see it happening. I think Watkins will go. I'd rather have Højlund or Isak if they double in 34. Even though the annoying thing about selling Watkins is his best fixture is in game week 34 against Bournemouth at home. He is capable of outscoring both of them with a double. But look, Matt, all it takes is... I think one thing about being like set with your chips and stuff like that, it only takes one slight upset in the FA Cup and the fixtures can be completely different to what we think. Again, we know who's going to double. It's just we don't know which week. So if Man United beat Liverpool or Newcastle beat Man City, then neither Newcastle or Man United will double in game week 34. So, and look, I get it, right? Liverpool and Man City are clear favourites, but Man United are at home. You just don't know what could happen in a game like that. So I wouldn't start planning too much. Essentially, I'm open to selling anyone if it makes sense, I guess, to get. And I'm also open to not getting Salah at all, even though that could be massive pain against Sheffield United at home. All right, back to game week 28, by the way, not game week 34. Route to Salah, sorry. Sheriff, 29 months member, thank you very much. Who do you think would start in defence for Villa and for Spurs, debating Cash versus Porro? I'm not sure I would go for Cash. Oh, you mean this week in particular? I mean, I would just go for Porro, I think. A bit more attacking. I think Cash long term, I'd be a bit unsure about his minutes. Plus, the fixtures aren't great from 31 onwards. Simply FPL, 19-month member, thank you very much. Hope you're doing good. Wildcard active, nice. Good luck with it. I still like Wildcard 28 free hit 34. I hope it works out for people. I mean, I hope it works out a little bit less than my strategy because I want to win. But I hope it works out because I think it is good in theory. Ben Scott, member for 4 months. Thank you very much. Naught hits next game week for 8 players. Thoughts? No free hit wildcard. Yeah, sounds nice. I mean, 8 players for no hits is pretty decent, especially if they're most of the good players as well. Craven, -4. Gordon to Bowen, bench Foden. Or -4. Haaland to Morris, play Foden. Trying to not free hit 29. I don't... I think I'd rather get Morris for the extra fixture, to be honest, over getting Bowen. Bruno over Foden, are you insane? Apparently, yes, according to my comment section. If I had your team, I wouldn't wildcard. Yeah, no, I don't think I can justify it at all. I think for me to have wildcarded this week, I would have needed the fixtures so that I could almost guarantee what the plan was. I think I think it was too risky. I mean, I've literally taken a -4 to bench Sleeper Areola. My team's in a really good place for game week 28. It might not work out like that, but on paper it's really good, I would say. Am I a form or fixtures man? I mean, I'm a fixtures plus good FPL options man, I would say. Is it okay to start Senesi? I mean, it is, but he's not going to play. He's going to be out until after the international break. I have 2 free transfers, planning to free hit in 29. I'm planning Trippier to Zabani and Walker to Kirkes. Other than this, I'm frustrated with Garnacho. Is it worth taking a hit? No, I don't think so. I mean, if I had Garnacho and Foden, I'd be tempted to play Garnacho this week, to be honest with you. Reckon you get close to 20 points on your bench. It's definitely possible. I mean, Areola clean sheet, absolutely. I'm quite worried about... I mean... Look, Zabani or Neto, we can debate which one was for the hit. I guess it was the goalkeeper, because I feel like I did need the defender. So let's just say the goalkeeper was for a hit. Is Neto definitely going to outscore Areola by 4 points? I ain't so sure. I'll tell you what I'm really hoping for this week, even though I'm playing Gabriel. I'm really hoping for a Tony goal, or preferably someone different from Brentford, but Brentford scoring and someone to score for Burnley. I need that to happen. It'll make me feel better about my transfers. Because if Areola gets a clean sheet, there's every chance it's worth more than 6 points. And then Neto is really struggling, I think, to beat that for a -4. But I think it's worth saying the fixtures are quite good for Bournemouth after 29. So there is more than just this week at stake. And they might double in 34. So if they do double in 34, even if the hit doesn't pay off this week, for me, it was still a good move. So, yeah. As for Fernandes over Foden, that's kind of an ownership play, to be honest. Like, if Foden's ever not going to do as well, if I'm ever going to bet on a match where Foden's not going to do as well as he has been, it's going to be Liverpool away. Is he more than capable of scoring a brace in that game? Of course he is. He's a great player, right? But I think it's a tough fixture on paper, although Alisson out does worry me. But anyway, he's super highly owned, and Fernandes is super low owned, and Fernandes got the better fixture. All he needs is a penalty, and it could work out. So that's why I'm doing it. I don't. It's not some Man United bias. Like the Man United bias makes me laugh because I literally played Foden against Man United last week because I knew he'd do well. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go through with it and start Fernandes. Like it's only going to be pain. I can see it now, and I won't even be reading the comments this weekend if Foden outscores him. I also don't like the fact Fernandes plays first game. Because by I'm not going to be able to watch the game, which may be a good thing, to be honest, because last time I had Fernandes and watched Man United was against Fulham, and they were terrible. So I'm not going to be able to watch the game, unfortunately. But by half-2, I'm going to know whether that decision was terrible or not. Yeah, Kelleher is a good goalkeeper. No, Kelleher's a really good backup. Probably one of the best, if not the best, in the league. God, Arsenal fans are about to lynch me, aren't they? But anyway, Kelleher's very good, but he's not Alisson, right? No one is. No, you can't blame Kelleher for that. Alisson's probably the best goalkeeper in the world, right? Should I start I would start Bailey over Foden. Someone must have a decision where I'd say I'd play Foden. I feel like I've got this thing where you have to bench Foden. That's not the case, right? But there's a lot of players I would play over him, I think, because of the fixture. Solanke in for Haaland for -4 and captain or not? I'd probably do it, yeah. Adebayo and Haaland to Solanke and Morris for -8, no free hit 29. If you're no free hit 29, then yes, probably. I mean, you're a bit unlucky with Adebayo, really. Pakadar member for 60 months, by the way. Thank you very much. Start Maddison or Watkins. Watkins, I think. Shaw, Chilwell, Trippier, Colwill, all injured. Can you play left back? Yeah, I think I don't know. Left back's going to be interesting. I'm really hoping Shaw's back. Like I know Chilwell's a good player, but I think Shaw is better, especially for England. So I'm hoping Shaw is back before the end of the season, so he can play for England. I don't know about anyone else, right? I know lots of people would always put their club ahead of international football, which is fair enough. But every time I see an England player injury, my first thought now is, what does that mean for the Euros? Like when Bellingham was injured the other week, whenever it was, I was like, just wrap him up in cotton wool for a few months, please. Don't let him get injured. He's the one we need. Because once you go further back for England, the team gets worse. And so like missing Shaw, is big, especially if like Chilwell, etc. is all injured. I mean, Trippier's probably going to play left back for England, I reckon. Why is Ward-Prowse not taking penalties anymore? Saw you said that, but I didn't understand why. I think he's actually scored more than Paquetá, but I think Paquetá would take penalties if he's on the pitch. So, if there's any West Ham fans that think different, let me know. But I'm pretty sure if Paquetá's on the pitch, he's probably going to take it. The Bruyne transfer feels like a mistake every week. Yeah, it did feel like that for me, but obviously there's a bit of hindsight in that. If he'd smashed it in the double, we wouldn't be saying that. But I get it, right? I'm the same. That's why I sold him for Fernandes. But in the end, that's probably going to end up being a mistake as well. So I should just get someone cheap and just be done with it. I should just sell Fernandes to Clive. Well, I can't do that anymore, but could have done that. This isn't FPL related, but I swear Malacia has disappeared. He hasn't played 1 minute this season. Yeah, he's apparently out for the season as well, which is madness. Like, he's out for the season. Shaw's going to be out for most of the season. Man United have no left back, which is a terrible position to be in. Talking about players that have disappeared, when I kind of tried to put together my England squad the other day, I completely forgot that Mason Mount exists. Like, what happened to him as well? What are Man United doing with these players? If your bench got 20 points, would you bench boost? Probably, yeah. With Brighton losing heavily in Europe, doesn't that reduce the chances of Bournemouth doubling in 34? You mentioned something on this from Ben in the video last week. So yes, that's what Ben originally said, but then he put the chances of Bournemouth doubling in 34 up, even with that result. I listened to James from Planet FPL, his Ask James stream. I think it was from yesterday. He said he made it very clear, right, that his projection is that Bournemouth will double in 37, but he said it's not likely that happens. He just said that's the projection. It could be that it's the other way around. It all comes down to where they put Arsenal versus Chelsea. If Arsenal-Chelsea goes into 34 or 37, that means Arsenal-Wolves will go into 34, and therefore Bournemouth can't double. I think that's it. So there's just knock-on effects, right? It's to do with TV picks, FA Cup results, all that kind of stuff. And we just don't have the guaranteed info. So I think right now, and I'm not a fixture girl, I would never pretend to be, right? Follow Tyler, Ben, James, etc. I think it's the case that Bournemouth is slightly more likely to double in 37, but it's not a guarantee. So yeah, it's... I don't know. I wouldn't make transfers solely thinking they're definitely doubling in 34. But I just think it's like an outside bet as well as getting a double this week. Should I play Porro or Gusto? Probably Gusto, I think, at home to Newcastle. Start Diaz or Gordon. I'm gonna say, I don't know, Gordon. Even though I've just said I'd start Gusto. Foden, Palmer, Gordon, start 2, bench 1. I would bench Gordon probably. Thinking of doing Watkins to Morris, which allows me to free hit game week 29. Then do Foden, Salah in 30. Am I missing something? Well, I mean, you're selling Watkins before a pretty good match for him, but I don't hate that in theory. I do think from 31 onwards, Watkins will be less needed. But just remember, the fixture this week's not bad for him. The fixture in 30 is not bad either. But in theory, yeah, I like that. Jenny, thank you very much. Watkins or Haaland to Morris to fund De Bruyne to Salah in 30. Haaland will come back in 31 for Watkins. Free hit in 29. Okay, if you're free hitting in 29, I mean, I maybe would sell Watkins. The thing is, I haven't given that enough thought to... I mean, you're going to want Haaland more than Watkins later on. Put it that way. And is Haaland that much worse than Watkins this week? Probably not. Would you go Estupiñán to Kirkes or Dubravka to Neto for free? I already have Zabani. I think Estupiñán might start this week, but after that, he's probably got to be a goner. So I'd probably go for the goalkeeper. You plan to take a -4? I've already taken it. I can either get Solanke or Morris this week. Who is better? Solanke, I think. I think even if you're not intending to free hit, I'd still rather get Solanke for the captaincy, I think. I mean, you could definitely take the punt risk, whatever you want to call it, on Morris. But I think I would go Solanke. Sell Haaland from -8 to bring in Morris and Salah game week 30. Yes, but then what's the plan to get Haaland back in afterwards? Free hit 29, I've got Areola. Neto for Kelleher for -4. Would you not keep Kelleher, no? You keep Kelleher surely over Areola if you're free hit 29. Kelleher's got like Sheffield United in game week 31. By when will we know the exact 34 fixtures? Before game week 30, hopefully. I think the thing to remember, all right, if we don't get them before game week 30, the game week 31 deadline is the Tuesday afterwards. So it's like Saturday into Tuesday deadline. So I guess if we don't get them by 30, we might not have them by 31 either. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Did you not think it would have taken an extra -4 to get 9 players in 29? Yes, I did. But I'd have worse players for this week, and I wouldn't have 11 players in 29. I just didn't think it was worth it. Like, essentially, I would have had to get... What? I don't know. I would have had to do something like... I mean, to be honest, it could have worked. I could have done Fernandes to Bowen, I guess, and Haaland to Morris instead of my 2 Bournemouth options. Like, that could have worked. And then taken another -4 next week. Oh, sorry, I wouldn't have even have to do that. I could have done Haaland to Morris this week. And I guess I would have had to get Barkley in. So, like, Foden to Barkley for -4, then another -4 next week. Might have been better. But then I'd be 2 less players down in 29. I'd also have worse players. And I'd still have Charlie Taylor. Like, I don't know. I'm not really counting Charlie Taylor as a great option in game week 29. I'd probably get a clean sheet now. Like, keep Tony out. And also, I'm bench boosting in 37, so it's probably better to have the wild card. It's pretty close, honestly. Dubravka to Neto -4, have 5 double game weeks and the same chips as you. I mean, I've done it, yeah. Start Gordon or Palmer, definitely Palmer. What's the news on Alisson? We don't really have a time frame. It's like, I think the last thing we heard was that he will be back before the end of the season. So how long that is, not sure. But I'd imagine Kelleher's still playing after the international break. It's just how many weeks after that, really. Would you do Ake Eshipinian for a Bournemouth defender for a hit on free hit 29? I would if that Bournemouth defender also helps you in game week 30. But I think that's the thing with the hits for me. Like, they might not pay off, right? There's every chance that Saliba gets a clean sheet and Zabani doesn't get 10 or more. There's every chance that Areola gets a clean sheet and Neto doesn't get more than 10. Right? That could absolutely happen. But the fixtures are good after 29, and there is a chance they double in 34. So the 4 points is like a bit of a bet, really. Dominic Solanke trained. Yeah, apparently he trained like normal. I think Solanke's going to be fine. I also think Saka's going to be fine as well. To be honest, I'm really not that worried about either of them. I mean, of course, there's a world where Solanke plays against Sheffield United. That knee pain flares up so much that he's not available for Luton. But I don't know. I don't see it. Ahmed, member for 31 months. Thank you very much. I got 6 players for 29. I want to save my free hit for later. Got key players like Son Watkins. Is it madness to play the week with 7 or 8 with a hit? It's not madness, no. Not madness. I think it's questionable whether that free hit will be worth more later, but it could be if the fixtures fall right. Absolutely. And also, I will say, I think free hitting in 29 is kind of underrated a little bit because it almost cannot go wrong. I mean, it can go wrong, right? Every player you put in could blank. Okay, that is a possibility. But your team that you're free hitting out of, like for me at least, doesn't have any fixtures. So it's very unlikely free hit 29 can go wrong. The team you pick is very stress-free. It's really easy. Whereas with free hit 34, you're going to free hit in a week with, yes, double game weekers, but lots of good single game week fixtures as well. Villa have got Bournemouth. Arsenal could have Wolves. I think Man City might have Brighton. Like, those single game week players could do as well as some of the doublers. And so there is definitely a lot of upside with free hit 34. But in free hit 29, it almost cannot go wrong. So I think it's a little bit under. I think it's quite a stress-free. It's boring, maybe, for sure. I think it's quite stress-free strategy, to be honest. And like 7, 8 players for a hit, it's maybe okay. It could be okay, especially if you got most of the big dogs, you know, Watkins, Son, etc. Bowen, maybe. I mean, I can tell you now, my free hit 29 will be Flecken, Porro, Doughty, Reguilon, Bowen, Maddison, Son, Watkins, Tony. That's 9 players, right? I've only got to pick 2 more. So if you've got a lot of those players, especially the attackers, you could be all right. Utkarsh, for Game Week 29, I have 8 players. Diaz to Madison Bailey. If you're doing Wildcard 31, would you bring in another mid 2 for Saka? I'd be tempted by the Saka move, yeah, if you're definitely free hit Wildcard 31. I mean, Saka might drop in price, right? You got to remember, people will go through 29 without chips. They will sell players without fixtures. And, like, people will start looking at Saka, no fixture in 29, Man City in 30. They might sell. All it takes is a Saka blank this week, and people will change their tune on him. I guarantee it. So, yeah, I don't hate that at all. I think I prefer Madison to Bailey for what it's worth. Although, if Bailey starts both games, which he probably will, happy days. I've put Doughty on the bench in my free hit. No, I'm definitely going to play Doughty, I think. I mean, yeah, so I've got 2 decisions, really. Which 2 attackers do I go for? Out of Elanga, Gibbs-White, Awani, Bailey, Douglas Luiz. That's about it, I think. Who else is there? Mbermo probably won't be back. I won't be able to go... If I'm going to go for Porro, I can't go for a punt on Werner or someone like that anyway. So that decision's taken out of my hands. Kudus, possibly. Menez, I don't see me... Maybe Menez, yeah. I wouldn't completely rule it out. Awani's the one I think I want. Where possible, I don't want to have attackers against defenders, but I think I'm willing to do it for Doughty because he's so attacking. And also, the defenders almost pick themselves on free hit. Like, I could go for someone like... I know we're getting ahead of ourselves now. It's next week. I could go for someone like Moreno over Doughty, but then I'm almost certainly going to have Bowen. So it doesn't really stop the attacker versus defender thing. Anyway, that's for next week. Play Garnacho or Foden. Again, if you're willing to take the risk, I would go for Garnacho, but it could be pain. Triple captain Solanke or no? I think I would still triple captain him if you got all your chips left. What Saka? I don't know. We don't know what Saka's illness is, but I think he'll probably be fine. Play Madison or Foden? I think I'd play Madison. Would you go Hwang to Eze for a -4 or leave it? Well, it depends who you're benching for that -4. I mean, Eze potentially good, yeah, especially if you're free hit 29. Good fixture this week, good fixture in 30. Is Watkins must-have? No, I don't think anyone really is must-have right now, apart from... I mean, Solanke's maybe close to must-have, but even then, with the slight doubts around him, probably not. So no, Watkins is not must-have, but he's very good. I think finding a differential in Game Week 29 will be the trick. Yeah, a lot of people will go down that route. I mean, ultimately, like, if you think about the way everyone's talking who aren't free hitting, right? I'm having to take hits. I'm going to have 8, 9 players. Free hitting in itself is already a differential. I mean, in theory, doesn't always work out like this, but in theory, you've made better selections before Game Week 29, so hopefully you're already up on points. You're not having to take the hit in Game Week 29. You're up on points, and you're going to get 11 players out. So you're up on people that have only got 7, 8, 9 players. So you actually don't need to go on a full differential hunt. But that being said, the 2 attackers, I'm quite tempted to go for like Awani and Bailey because they're lower owned than like Douglas Luiz and whoever else, right? So I think for a couple of positions, I will try and go a bit differential, but ultimately the free hit in itself is a differential. Imagine the chaos the phrase withdrawn due to illness would have had during COVID. Yeah, you would have had to just assume. I mean, during COVID, a lot of times they didn't say why players were out, right? I don't think they really said that. They kept that private. But anyway, with Saka, he came off against Sheffield United at half-time. I think Arteta said that was due to him being sick, but he trained yesterday. Like, he's going to be... Saka always starts. It'd have to be a pretty big injury to keep him out. Choice between Palmer or Foden in Game Week 28. I go Palmer. Which 2 would you play out of Palmer, Garnacho and Gross? Ooh, probably Palmer and Gross for the penalties. I'll tell you the really hard choice this week, which I haven't seen anyone ask, but I did see a few in the member stream yesterday, I think, is who would you play out of Toney and Foden? I think that's quite a tricky one. Because Toney's up against the best defence in the league. They're both away. Toney's got penalties. Who would you start? I think most people would start Foden because he was incredible last week. And there's maybe a bit of recency bias, but It's a tough one, that, I think. Anyway, no one's really asked that today, so... 0 doublers, 4 to 5 players in 29, 1 free transfer. I don't really want a wildcard this week. Why don't you want a wildcard, though? I mean, look, again, I think it's perfectly reasonable if you don't want a bunch of Bournemouth and Luton players for what it's worth. So if you don't want a wildcard, fair. I feel like you've probably got to use a chip. If you're on 0 doublers and 4 or 5 players in 29, probably got to use a chip at some point. Would you start Lamptey or Porro? Let me just double check. I think Lamptey started midweek, didn't he? So for me, the chances of Lamptey starting again are quite slim. Like midweek to weekend for Lamptey, that's asking for an injury. So I would probably go Porro, even though Lamptey's got the better fixture. Femi, plan Ariola to Neto -4, triple Bournemouth, have Kelleher, nice. Free hit 29, nice. Do I need another -4, e.g. Ake to Doughty or play Saliba? Yeah, I've essentially taken a -4 to bench Saliba. I wouldn't do it for Doughty, I don't think, if you're free hit 29. I don't think I would do that. I'd just play Saliba. Bench 1, Son, Palmer, Watkins. Ooh. Great question. Palmer. And absolutely hate seeing him on your bench. Seb, how is it going? Chan Huang to Bowen or Barkley. No free hit 29. Oh, you're not free hit 29. Big mistake. No, I'm going to mess him. I want to say the double game weeker, but I think the right answer might be Bowen. I also think at the other side of the blank, you'd rather have Bowen, just in case something changes with chips. I hate not saying the double game weeker, but I just think Burnley at home would probably be enough for me. Haaland Slanky for a -4 and to captain. I'd probably do it, yeah. Any possibility Eshapinian will start? Yeah, I'd say there's a possibility. I would start Eshapinian over Ake, I think. Wildcard this week and free hit 29 looks pretty good. Don't understand. No one is talking about that. There's a few people talking about that. My main issue with it is you're getting rid of both of the chips that let you plan around certain game weeks, and you've also got to put. I guess you've got to put maybe a few players in that you hope will double in 28, in 34. Like that might not happen. I don't know. Like I don't mind wildcard 28 in general. I've spoken about it quite a lot. I think if I'd had a few more injuries, I probably would have gone for it. But I feel like if you do wildcard 28 free hit 29, you're having to make too many decisions for game weeks that are quite far away. And it could work out, right? We know who's going to double. I just feel like free hit 34 is a bit, I guess, safer. But there's plenty of people going to go wildcard 28, free hit 29. But you'd have to just put like, I don't know, maybe you'd go for Petrovic or Gusto or something like that because you know Chelsea are going to double later and they've got a good fixture in game week 30. Like, it's definitely viable. Dallo, 12 pointers a day, please. You never know. I have 3 double game week players. Thinking of selling Foden for a hit for a double game week player. The problem is you're getting Tavernier, Clivert, or Barkley, really. I'd just probably leave it. I'd start Bailey over Foden and Porro over Pau Torres, I think. Is Salah for Saka a crazy decision? I wouldn't do it this week. I don't think it's crazy in game week 30, though. Bench Garnacho or Foden. Already have no Haaland. Bench Garnacho or Foden. I think I'd bench Foden. I would probably bench Foden. Whether or not you should do that, I mean, it could have, like, are you prepared for the pain? Like, I already know what's ahead of me when Foden outscores Fernandes. It's a load of tweets, a load of comments on my videos about how stupid it was, Man United bias. I know that's coming. I'm prepared for it. Are you prepared for Garnacho being outscored by Foden? Bearing in mind the ownership difference is quite a lot. Haaland to Morris. Yeah, I'd do that, especially if you're on wildcard 30 and not free hitting 29. Matthew, thank you very much. Does free hit transfers affect price changes? No, I don't think so. I don't think wildcard or free hits affect price changes. I mean, for anyone, there's going to be, well, there usually is quite a few questions after the deadline about whether you should activate your free hit straight away. I don't think I'm going to activate mine because there's just there's no big hit. Like, what's the most expensive player that's going to play in game week 29? It's probably Son, right? I think it is Son. There's not many players more expensive than him. Like, money is not going to be an issue on free hit 29. So I'm just not going to activate it because if something massive, like imagine like one of the other fixtures gets called off because of weather or something, I might not even need a free hit, right? So it is a very minor, it's a very small chance, like less than 1%. I don't free hit, I would say, in 29, but there's just no need to activate the chip straight away, I don't think, because the money's just not going to be a problem with it. The fact you have Fernandes in general is mental. Sure. Have you followed along the transfers? I mean, since I bought Fernandes in for De Bruyne, he's outscored in both weeks, so it could be worse. Could have Kevin De Bruyne, right? Bench Foden or Douglas Luiz? Probably Luiz. Sacrificing game week. Who's sacrificing 30 for Mo? Salah, Son, or Haaland? I mean, Saka probably, if you're going to do it in 30. But then Saka's got Luton at home in 31, so it's not ideal either way. I'm wildcarding this week, but I'm ignoring 29 as I'm free hitting. Nice, nice. Yeah, it could work out really nicely. I know a few people that are doing that. Start Chris Richards or Gusto, or do a -4 for Doughty. I wouldn't do a -4. Palace have got who at home? Luton, of course. I get Gusto, I think. I think Gusto is going to be pretty useful after 29. Son, Kirkes, Neto for Martinez, Cash, De Bruyne for -4. I think that sounds quite good as long as you're free hitting in 29. Because if you're not, you're selling Aston Villa players. On the phone, we're going to actually just spoken about that. Loz, Salah on my bench, nice. I probably need to get him starting. Sacrifice Saka, Son, De Bruyne, or Palmer. I'd play Salah over De Bruyne, I think. Thoughts on Mepham as a Bournemouth punt? I just don't see what he really offers over Zabani, who's nailed. Just don't see it. Start Van Dijk, Ake, or Pau Torres. I think I'd go Van Dijk. I think Ake and Van Dijk both concede. I think Van Dijk is guaranteed to start. I mean, Ake should start, right? I think most people would have him in their predictions. I guess he's the one. No, he's away as well. Yeah, no, I'd definitely start Van Dijk, I think, out of those. Goal threat 2. Darwin, Haaland, Watkins, Solanke in for Haaland. Darwin, Haaland, Watkins. Oh, Solanke in for Haaland. I think I'd rather have Haaland than Darwin, right? I mean, Darwin could be great after 29, but I think this week, rather have Haaland. Your guess, -12. Haaland to Morris, Gross to Bowen, Estepinian to Zabani, Dubravka to Neto. 8 players in 29, wildcard 31, or just do the defensive transfers. Oh, okay. I thought you meant like defensive as in like safe for a -4 and free hit 29. I think you're quite close to just free hit 29, to be honest. Like, that saves you 8 points straight away. You get 3 extra players. You don't have to sell Haaland. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty close. I think I'd free hit. Triple captain Solanke, I probably would. Got main 6 players to 29 for a -8. Save free hit for 34. I think taking a -8 and only having 6 players is mental, if that's what you're saying. I would just free hit. Who to bench? Foden or Palmer? Foden. Also got 2 free transfers. Should I sell De Bruyne and Watkins for Salah and De Bruyne and Watkins for Salah and Watkins? Free hit 29. I don't know who the second striker is. I wouldn't like rush to do De Bruyne to Salah this week for a hit or anything. Oh, you got 2 free transfers. You don't need to sell Watkins, right? I don't know who the second striker is in your thing because you've put Watkins twice. Should I start Mengi over Estepinian and Burn? I would, yeah, definitely over Dan Burn. Like, I wouldn't buy any other Luton players outside of Doughty, but if I've already got them, I'd be tempted to play them for sure. Sell Hee-Chan Huang to Clivert for a -4 would mean benching Foden but have Salah funds for 30. Don't hate it. That's a don't hate it move. I think it's okay. A -4 to bench Foden, I mean, let's be honest, that could definitely go really wrong. But definitely also don't hate it. Bum, 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 bum. And also with Clivert, like he is probably a little bit riskier over Tavernier, but he's a lot cheaper. So that then becomes, I mean, Clivert basically then goes on your bench, right? Nice job on the FPL show. It was like seeing a mate on there when they introduced you. Thank you very much. Hopefully it went all right. My camera wasn't as good as Pranil's. They wanted me to put the camera down, but unfortunately I just can't move my camera because it messes up my own stuff too much. Salah and Morris. Okay. De Bruyne and I do you know, I really don't hate that. Like, I would rather have Morris than Watkins this week. Again, not saying people should go and take hits for that, but if it was a choice, I was free hitting in Game Week 20, I would definitely have Morris over Watkins. So don't hate that. And I think Salah is better than De Bruyne for sure. I mean, the one thing to say about Salah for people thinking about going early this week, Man City's not an easy fixture. Right? I know Salah can do well in that game. He has done before, but it's not an easy fixture. And he's only just back from injury again. So it is a little bit risky. But if I had the choice between Salah or De Bruyne this week, I would go for Salah, I think. So I don't hate him. Anything you change from your Game Week 28 wildcard draft? I think I would probably set up in a way where I think I've set up in a way to take a hit for 10 players, or maybe set up in a way to not take a hit and just have 9 players. One thing I think is going to be tricky for wildcard 28ers is what to do about Tony. I've seen a lot of people thinking about just having Solanke and rolling in 29 and just not getting Tony. And do you know what? I don't mind that. And then maybe just start with Reguilon instead of one of the other defenders. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Tony is good for 29. Like, he is one of the best options. But later down the road, it might be better to not make that move. I guess in terms of the draft, right, you're still keeping Solanke, so that doesn't really matter. It's just about the transfer next week. Was thinking of triple captain Solanke this week, but the reports made me bottle it. I think on triple captain Solanke, right, again, it's perfectly reasonable to not want to triple captain in this week. Yeah, understandable, whatever. I would really think about how many other chips you've got left. If you're someone that's already used your bench boost, for example, and you're wildcard 30, 31, and you've got your free hit left, you're going to have the double in 34 or the double in 37 to use your triple captain. If you're looking to wildcard 30, 31, free hit 34, and bench boost 37, where does your triple captain get used? There's only going to be probably one other double game week, and it could be like Chelsea or Brighton. Now, by all means, right, triple captain Palmer might not be that bad, but is that better than Solanke against Sheffield United and Luton at home? I'm unsure about that. So the only way that I would not triple captain this week is if I had fewer chips to use later this season, I think. That's pretty much where I fall on it. Start one of Ake, Reguilon, or Taylor. I'd probably start Taylor, I think. I think Reguilon and Ake will both concede. I mean, I guess Taylor probably will as well. Reguilon a bit more attacking, maybe. I think I'd start Charlie Taylor. Foden to Barkley, -4 to bench Palmer. No free hit 29. Honestly, maybe, but I think you could just take the -4 next week instead and just get a better player. Is Barkley going to outscore Palmer by 4 points this week? Maybe. I guess you do it if you're definitely not free hit 29. Haaland to Morris, Solanke, not using free hit on 29. I can do Haaland to Morris next week. Stick with Fernandez. I'm playing Lamina over Tony. Lamina over Tony. Okay. Haaland to Morris. I would go Solanke, I think, and then move it on next week. I think I would take the captaincy. If you don't want to make the double move, then by all means get Morris and maybe captain him instead. But I'd probably go the Solanke route. Mengi or Zabani means 11 or 10 players in 29. I'll probably just go for Zabani. Eshapinian to Doughty for a -4 instead of starting Porro. Probably not, no. Maybe if you're not free hit 29, but definitely I wouldn't do it if you're not. Sorry, if you are. Start Foden versus Liverpool or Gordon versus Chelsea. Foden, I think. Bench Bruno or Foden. Get out of here. Get out of here. Sarabia going under the radar. Good fixtures besides the blank in 29. Yeah, and probably on penalties as well. But I think it's right to be going under the radar right now. There's more important players to bring in. The time to bring Sarabia in was when he was playing Sheffield United instead of Hwang, right? That was the time to get him. Thoughts on playing Garnacho over Gabriel? I would probably do that, yeah. Will I free hit 29? Almost certainly, yeah. Is Kabori a starter? I think with Kabori, you're probably going to get at least one start out of him. It's not guaranteed, but I think you probably get one. But he's one of those players. I wouldn't buy Kabori, no chance. Unless it opened up a really big, incredible move for you later on, which I think for most people it probably doesn't. So I wouldn't buy Kabori, but if I had him, I'd play him, I think. Even over an Arsenal defender, I think I would risk it. Just about. Again, that could be absolute pain. Got Ake, Van Dijk, Colwell, Zabani, Saliba. Do I take a -4 to get another doubling defender? I don't think I would take a -4 to get Doughty on free hit 29. Doughty becomes almost useless from an FPL point of view after 29. Could maybe playing against Bournemouth at home, but outside of that, there's not a huge amount of fixtures you need him for. Alex is not free hitting in 29. That's because he has to be wildcarding in 28 with the team he's got. Bowen or Barkley on no free hit. I'm gonna say Bowen over Barkley, but I hate myself for it. I start Porro over Reguilon, I think. Who's my vice captain? Can you not see it on the screen? It's on the screen. I'm not hiding it. Just maybe not where you'd usually expect. Why is no one talking about Semenyo for Bournemouth? Because he's a forward. Thinking of Watkins to Semenyo for the double and free hit Watkins back in for 29. Yeah, don't hate it. I mean, there's an argument to be made that Semenyo is better than Tavernier and Cliver in isolation. It's just that he takes up a forward spot, and people have too many forwards they want. So that's why he's not getting a mention. Chan Hwang to Bournemouth Luton mid for -4 would mean benching De Bruyne. I don't think I'd do it. I would just keep De Bruyne as your placeholder for Salah, I think. Need to get Hwang out, and I'm planning free hit 29. Can't afford Bayern without taking a -8. Would you go Bailey, Diaz, or take a punt on Havertz? Well, Havertz is a forward. No, hang on. He's not, is he? He's listed... Sorry. Is he listed? He's listed in midfielder, isn't he? I've got that wrong. Yeah, sorry. Need to get Hwang out. I'm planning free hit 29. Well, I mean, I would get Palmer if you haven't got Palmer, to be honest. Diaz is not a bad shout, though. Good fixtures for Liverpool after the blank. Maybe Diaz. I think Havertz's position on the pitch has got me confused there about where he actually plays. Sorry, where he's actually listed in FPL. My bad. Would you sell De Bruyne to Bowen or Son from -4 this week? I don't know if I would sell De Bruyne from -4 in general, first of all. I think if you're not free hitting 29, I think I prefer Son. I know Bowen's got Burnley, but Son's got Luton at home in 30. Sorry, I know Bowen's got Burnley this week, but Son's got Luton in 30. I think overall I just prefer Son. If I don't free hit in 29 and don't wildcard, when would you wildcard? Probably 30, 31. I mean, you can see how popular Morris is, right? You can just go to transfers in for this round for Luton. And Morris has been brought by over 500,000 managers this week. Wow. That's madness. Doughty has been bought by over 500,000 as well. Barkley over 100,000. Morris is super popular. Didn't realise that popular. I mean, I should have known he's quite popular. Neto, 232,000 transfers in. Bowen, 387,000. Salah, 132k. I think Salah's had less transfers in this week than he has the previous 2 weeks when he's been freaking injured. Makes no sense. Solanke, 849,000 transfers in. Damn, there's still a lot of active FPL managers out there. On wildcard, Porro or Doggy. Do you know what? I would be tempted to take Udogi for the price difference. Reguilon. Elanga or Barkley. I'm going to say Barkley. Gusto or Gabriel. Zabani or Kirke. Zabani. Hwang to Bowen or Barkley -4. I'm going to stick with Bowen, but I hate myself every time I say it. I would just play Gordon, though. Out Dubravka, Van Dijk, Alvarez, in, Kaminsky, down to Solanke. Went for more Luton to cover myself and the number of the blanks I've got in 28. Presumably 29, in which case, yes, if that's a -4. Bowen, yeah, done Bowen or Barkley quite a lot now. Yeah. I think I'd go Bowen over Barkley, generally. Would you bench Ain't Yuri and bring in Zabani for a -4? Wolves have Fulham at home. It's pretty close. I'd probably do it, but it's quite close. If you don't really want to do it, then don't. How come I never talk about Ben White? I don't know really. Is he doing a lot of interesting stuff in life? Generally, the feeling the actual answer is generally the feeling was he's a little bit more susceptible to being benched than Gabriel and Saliba. But to be fair, with the likes of Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, Timber, etc., all missing, he's probably going to start most games. He has come off in the 68th and 64th minute in the last 3 game weeks, so there is a chance at some point he gets brought off before the 60th. And he's also 5.6 million, so he's more expensive than Gabriel. And Gabriel's goal threat is probably higher. So there you go. How many of the 180 minutes will Solanke play? I'm going to say at least 150. That's my bet. 75 in each game. Forgot the points. It would be for a -8. Dubravka, Van Dijk, Alvarez. I mean, Dubravka, fine, whatever, right? Especially if you're not free hitting in 29. Alvarez not even starting, absolutely fine. So I quite like it still, yeah. I mean, if Van Dijk to Doughty is to fund it, I don't mind it at all. Is the Solanke doubt true? Saw on Twitter he's been struggling. Solanke's had a knee issue since like game week 20 that he's been working through apparently, and he hasn't trained fully. So that is all true, yeah. But it was also pretty much true last week too, and then he played 88 minutes. Saka to a Luton midfielder for -4, not free hitting in 29. I don't think so. Bench 2, Porro or Ain't Nuri. Porro. Foden or Garnacho. I'm going to say Foden, but again, don't do it if you're not willing to take the risk, right? Foden's been great. He's very highly owned. It can really hurt you if it goes wrong. Don't do it. Don't come back to me and tell me that I told you to bench Foden. It's your decision. I'm telling you now, if Foden outscores him, you're going to regret it. So think very carefully about whether you're willing to take those risks. Do you reckon you'd finish higher or lower than you do if you never shared your team? Feels like loads of people copy it. Don't know really. I don't think there's as many people that copy transfer to transfer as much as people think. I really don't know. We'll find out one day maybe when I stop making videos. Although would I keep playing FPL then? I don't know. Probably. Why is everyone ditching Madness? Who's Madness? Did I say ditching a player was madness? What's the downside to a free hit in 29? I mean, if you've got 11 players in 29, then the downside to free hitting is you're getting no benefit, I guess. Depends on your team, right? You haven't got the chip later on, but it's probably not going to be a massive problem, especially if you've got the wild card. Is Kirkes nailed for how long? I don't know if I would say he's nailed, but he's pretty likely to play while Lloyd Kelly is out. And Kelly is probably not he's not going to be back for 28. So after the international break, maybe. I mean, it might be like, I did see something, I can't remember who tweeted it, that apparently Lloyd Kelly is not going to sign a new contract or something. So maybe he comes back and they just don't use him. It could be that while Senesi is out, if Lloyd Kelly's back, he plays centre-back and Kirkes keeps playing left-back. Like, I wouldn't say Kirkes is 100% nail, but I think he's okay in the short term. Like, put it this way, if I was definitely wildcarding in 30 and I only needed the Bournemouth defender for this week, I would have bought Kirkes instead of Zabani. What's the most points hits you would take this game to start moving out triple Arsenal, triple City? I have free hit 29, but 30 is a problem. If you're free hitting 29, I probably just wouldn't. Because if you're not wildcard until later, like, okay, Man City versus Arsenal in Game Week 30 is not ideal, but they got good fixtures afterwards, both teams. Neto in for Kelleher for -4, got Martinez on the bench, no free hit 29. No, I don't think so. Like Kelleher's pretty good afterwards, right? I mean, you could do it. Like, I don't hate it because you got Martinez for 29. Neto fixtures afterwards are pretty good, but so are Kelleher's. You could do it. I've taken a -4 for a goalkeeper, so I'm not against it. -4 De Bruyne to Chong to fund Luis Diaz to Salah. I would just probably take the -4 in game week 30 instead. Buy a Bournemouth defender -4 to bench Porro and bench Gabriel game week 30. I think if it helps you later on, I don't mind it. De Bruyne to Barkley -4, free hit 29. I wouldn't do that. Start Bailey or Foden. Bailey. Which attacker to bench out of Son, Saka, Palmer, De Bruyne, Foden, Watkins? Probably De Bruyne. I think for me, which is a bit crazy. Would you get Adam Smith and feels like such a dull pick? Sure, but again, like he's at the mercy of Max Aaron's coming back, right? I don't know. I just think with Kirkes and Adam Smith, they're probably more likely to get you an attack in return than Zabani. 100%. I definitely don't disagree with that. But we're not talking about Konate versus Trent here, right? The gap is much smaller in terms of how attacking Kirkes and Smith are. So if it's like a long-term pick, I just wouldn't risk it. That's kind of my... If it's a short-term pick, fine. Go for Smith or Kirkes. If not, go Zabani. That's kind of how I feel on about it. I really don't think there's too much more to think about on it either. FPL Acumen, how's it going? Out on a hike in Wicklow. Nice. Listen to the stream. Nice. How do you think the City-Liverpool game will go? I think it might be a bit of a tighter game than people think. I don't know. Like, it does feel like one of those games that will either be super tight or it'll be super open. There won't be like much in between. Like, I don't see like a 3-1. I think it'll either be like 3-2, 4-1, or like 1-1, 2-1, something like that. I mean, I've just basically listed off every possible, every likely thing. I think it could be quite tight. I see like I'll go 1-1. I don't know. I think Liverpool missing a few players could play into. I think Man City are missing like Grealish, etc. That's not going to affect them as much as like Alisson and Konate potentially being out. I'm going to go 1-1, I think. I want to go hiking, by the way. I need to get some comfortable walking boots. I want to go Diamond Hill soon. I could probably do that in trainers, I reckon, if the weather's good. Bearing in mind I'd have no chips, you hate a wildcard 28. I don't hate it, no. But I'll be honest with you, I have not thought enough about how stuck you might get later. Like, I don't think I would necessarily be... Would I want to wildcard into triple Bournemouth, triple Luton with no other chip left? Possibly not, because you've got a lot to manage in 34 and 37. If your team looks okay and you can probably get through 29, I'd rather save it, I think, and just get the fixtures. Who would score more over the next 3 weeks? Foden plus 4 points or Bowen? Over the next 3... Oh, well, Bowen, I think. Right, because Foden's got Liverpool and Arsenal in a blank. Also one of Castagna, Reguilon. I mean, Castagna's fixtures aren't that bad. I'll go Reguilon. Bench Gross or Palmer. Gross, probably. Just about. Got Fleck and Ariola. Would you take a -4 for Neto? I'd be kind of tempted to do it, yeah. But again, it's one of those you don't have to. Like, Ariola could absolutely keep a clean sheet this week and outscore Neto. Bench Foden or Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz. Play 3, bench 2. I would bench Luiz and Porro, I think. Barkley, Bailey, or Bowen for the next 3 game weeks. I think Bowen. Out of them. But you've got a free hit left. It's a bit different if you're wildcard 28 and you've got no other chips left. Free hit 29 seems underwhelming because of the teams playing. Thoughts? Sure. Like, I mean, what I don't know what people want from 29. We know the fixtures, right? You're wildcard. You're not free hitting in like Saka and Salah, etc. I get it, but that's part of the benefit, right? Part of the benefit. That you get to keep those players. Again, I'm very open to different chip strategies. I think it's absolutely fine if you don't want to free hit in 29. Plenty of people will have teams where they don't need to do that. That's absolutely fine. But I also think people massively undervalue the free hit in 29. Because you get to keep all your good players outside of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm going to free hit and then have Arsenal and City players back playing against each other. But from 31, that'll look much better. I'm not having to get in like Reguilon now. I mean, Reguilon's been all right, but I don't have to get in like the likes of Reguilon or Douglas Luiz instead of. I mean, to be fair, right, having Douglas Luiz or Bailey over Fernandes this week is probably perfectly fine. So it's not. I'm not saying my strategy is perfect, but I think free hit 29 is undervalued a bit. Even if the players don't get massive attacking returns, you're still getting a lot of appearance points. So I've got 5 players for 29. And I'm still having to take a hit this week. So again, like, it just goes back to what I said earlier. There is no perfect strategy. There is no strategy where you can take 0 hits and have a great team every game week. At some point, you're going to have a worse team. For some people, they'd rather sacrifice 28 and 29 and have their chips for later. Perfectly reasonable. Do that if that's what you want to do. I think for my team at this point, given that I sold Porro, I sold Richarlison, Arsenal, Chelsea didn't go into 29, free hit 29 just works better for me. And I would wildcard, but I just, like, that team just doesn't need it. What would I even wildcard into, you know? Like, I'd be wildcarding for Morris instead of Haaland and Barkley instead of Fernandes, essentially. It's probably not worth it. I'm quite excited about free hit 29 having a complete new team for 1 week. Exactly. Yeah, I don't mind it, honestly. I really don't. And also, again, it's so easy to pick a free hit 29 team. Like, so, like for game week 29, you're just relaxing for a week, and then you've got an international break to look forward to. And I know people are going to hate me saying that, but yeah. I'm quite looking forward to the international break. The last one before the Euros. Let's see who England call up. They've got to call up, I think they've got to call up Mainu. And players like that. Like fringe players that probably aren't going to make the Euro squad, but I think they've got to call them up. I want to see Mainu in that March squad. I think Branthwaite probably deserves to go as well. But actually for the Euros, it's tough. Haaland and Gordon out for Solanke and Salah. Haaland and Gordon out for Solanke and Salah. Don't mind that. De Bruyne and Muna is out for Bowen and Solanke. I think the De Bruyne one's better. Is it worth selling the likes of Haaland, Foden to save the free hit 29 then buying them back at a premium? Might be. If you're going to be priced out, I don't know why you would risk it. But I mean, like Foden's not going to be essential after 29. He's going to be very good, but he's not going to be essential. I mean, Haaland's already dropped in price. He might even drop again before you need to buy him back. Zabani for -4, not going to free hit in 29. Probably less worth it then. Bench 2 out of Porro, Kabori, Gabriel, Saliba. Porro and Saliba, I think. I'd play Kabori if I owned him. Ruben Loftus-Cheek deserves a call up over Mainu. But I think Loftus-Cheek's been seen before by England, right? It's just never really worked. Look, I haven't seen enough of Loftus-Cheek to say whether he's playing even better now. So I don't want to pretend like I have. But Loftus-Cheek, I feel like, has had a few... I mean, he's got a bit unlucky with injuries for sure. I feel like he's probably already had his chances for England. By the way, I am not saying that Mainu should go to the Euros, but I just think this is a good chance to look at a few different players. And there's more than just Mainu and Branthwaite as well. I think Saka... Like, honestly, I couldn't be less worried about Saka. Like, I think he'll start. If you can only pick one, Doughty or Zabani. Zabani for this week. Doughty if you need someone in 29 as well. Had his chance. Not sure that's how football works. If somebody naturally gets better. Yeah, but like, I think you're missing the point, or maybe I'm not articulating it properly. Loftus-Cheek is not going to go to the Euros, right? So, I mean, I guess Mainu isn't either. What I mean is, like, they've already seen Loftus-Cheek a few times. Why not take some of the young players? I think the thing to remember with England is that third midfield spot and then the backup. There's not really anyone there. Like, no one good anyway. Like, not that's established themselves. So maybe you're right. Maybe they should look at Loftus-Cheek if he's been playing that much better. But I just think he's probably... How old is he now? I think he's probably done with England, to be honest. He's going to be super young now, isn't he? 28? Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather take a look at some of the younger players, to be honest. I'd be shocked if Gallagher, Hendo, and Phillips. I don't think they can all go. I think only 2 of those can go. Anyway, we should not get onto an England conversation. People get too angry about it. Why is Pedro Neto in your ticker? Petro Neto. Did I spell it wrong? Did I? Oh yeah. We have FPL to discuss. I know, but England's much more interesting. Do you think De Bruyne and Foden start? Yes. How confident am I on starting Palmer over Foden? I'm immensely confident about starting Palmer over Foden. Fernandes over Foden, different question. Why did you sell Dubravka, not Areola? Newcastle could get double game week 34. Yeah, it is possible. Basically, I took the bet that Nick Pope will be back before then. But I did kind of also regret it when I made the move. Because Areola, like, if Neto keeps his place, you only read, like, from now until 34, the only time I play Areola is 33. Do I think Chong is a good option? I wouldn't be buying him. Again, if I had him, I'd play him, but I wouldn't buy him. Bench one from Haaland, Foden, Saka, and Palmer. Foden. Your wildcard before 33. Nope. That's not the plan. Wildcard 35, 36 is the current plan. If you're a free hit in 29, should you make your free transfer ahead of free hit? No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. If you free hit, you only get 1 transfer the week after. As long as Henderson isn't caught. I suspect Henderson will probably go. Do you know what, actually? I think Henderson might not go. But I think Phillips will. Honestly, though, I would really suggest, my advice for before you get angry about who does and doesn't go to the Euros for England, try and build your own squad, 23-man squad. You only get to take 23. It's not 26 like at the World Cup. It's really difficult. Have 2 doublers and no free hit 29. Haaland to Morris. Yeah, I think so. Mohamed bench 2, Saliba, Saka, De Bruyne, Luis Diaz. Saliba easy, and probably Luis Diaz, I think. I like an earlier wildcard to get the benefit. I mean, sure, if you've got free hit left, but I'm using my free hit, so it's better to dead end 34 than wildcard into the big double, I think. Which is the bigger double, 34 or 37? I mean, we don't know for sure, but it's almost certainly going to be 37. Why not triple captain Solanke this week? Because I've already used it. You're not far off a bench boost. There's no point, though, if I'm saving the wild card. In the ticker, you said Solanke didn't fully train, but I saw... Oh, yeah, I'm going to take that out, actually. Apparently, he did train. I'm going to put that back to... I think Solanke will start twice. I changed that. I missed your super chat. Did I? I don't know. Or have I just not got to him yet? Yeah, probably just haven't got to... Wait, where is it? Yeah, no, I just haven't got to them yet. To the next 11 months. Jandra, thank you very much. Bench Foden or Luis Diaz? Luis Diaz, I think. I think just about... Again, it's quite a close call, though. I mean, Luis Diaz at home, maybe he should be played. I think I'd play Foden. Foden, Madison, Romero, Doughty, second keeper, Neto, and triple captain Solanke. Is that Foden to Madison, Romero to Doughty? Is that what you're asking? Also planning to free at 29 with Foden back in 30. You don't need to get Foden back in 30. He's playing Arsenal. The -8 gets balanced with double game players. Do you recommend this? Foden to Madison, Romero to Doughty. If you're free hitting 29, I wouldn't sell Romero to Doughty, I don't think. Triple captain Solanke, sure. Foden to Madison, again, maybe, but maybe Foden to Madison. I wouldn't do it for -4 though. I wouldn't send him for -4. That's what you're asking. Bench one out of Foden, Darwin, Saka, or Neto, Wolves. Ooh, I'm gonna say Foden. Bench one from Haaland. I think with Neto, he's probably going to start, right? Like, is in Wolves Neto. So I'd probably play him against Fulham. Bench one from Haaland, Foden, Saka, and Palmer. Foden. I have two. I did that one, didn't I? Estepinian to Mengi -4. I wouldn't do that. Or play Porro Estepinian. I'd probably just play Estepinian. Oh, you got no free hit 29. Maybe I'd do it then, but Mengi just doesn't inspire me at all. The only Luton defender I'm interested in is Doughty, really. Is it risky to play Van Dijk over Porro? I mean, not really. They're probably both going to concede. Bowen or Maddison on wildcard 28? I think Maddison, just for the Luton game after. It's quite close, though. Is a wildcard this week necessary if you have 8 players that you already want in your team from before? Probably not. I wouldn't say wildcard 28 is necessary generally, to be honest. It works for some people, but not everyone. Bench one of Maddison or Saliba? Saliba. Any Luton fans out there? What are the chances of Kabori starting? Yeah, let us know. Let us know. I think there's a chance. Aston Villa and Spurs might be a tight top 4 race affair. Can't risk going for Son. Maybe Bowen. Yeah, maybe. I think Son's better though. Son in Gameweek 30, Son to Salah, Neto to Garnacho 31 -4. I mean, sure, in theory that could be nice, but I guess like unless it massively affects your moves this week, I just wouldn't worry about it too much. But yeah, in theory, I quite like that. Is Gross to Bowen 1 week too soon? Yeah, -4 either way. I'd say, yeah, I would just wait because something might change next week and might mean you do a different move. I probably just wouldn't take the -4. Am I doing any content over the Euros? I don't know. Like for the actual Euros, like football, not fantasy. I don't know, maybe. Because I only really want to talk about England, so I don't want to go into detail about all other teams. And fantasy Euro content, I might give it a miss this year, but I'll see. I think the World Cup was a bit of a mess. Start Estepinian or Porro. I think I'd start Estepinian. I wouldn't sell him for -8. No chance to do a Euros watch long. I'm not going to be sat in my office to watch England. Salah for Foden for a -4 and free hit 29. Probably not, no. Haaland to Morris or Foden to Bowen, no free hit 29. I think I'd go for Morris and just take the extra fixture. Do some Sky Euros. No. I mean, you get captains every day in Euro Fantasy, right? Like for the free game. De Bruyne, Foden, Strakosha, Son, Bowen, Kamitsky -4, no free hit. Yeah, I quite like that, to be honest. Strakosha's a name we haven't seen for a while. Any league/team? God, I forgot about that. I mean, it's Man United versus Everton, the first game. So I'll tell you now, I'm pretty confident that Bruno Fernandes starts. God, imagine if he doesn't though. At least I get Foden in. Maybe a sort of reaction stream when we know all the fixtures of the next round. Sorry, we're talking about FPL now. Yeah, of course. There'll be videos when we know the fixtures. Would I move Estepinian to a Bournemouth defender for a 4-point hit? Yeah, probably. Well, I do think he'll start though. Should we get Hoyland? Probably not. Not this week anyway. Hopefully we'll know the blanks for hopefully we'll know the doubles for 34, 37 by game week 30, but it's not guaranteed. As someone that's not... Well, actually, no, I do want the fixtures. It just makes planning easier. Bournemouth tweeted. Okay, but presumably they didn't release the team this early. An hour to get these double game week players into your team. There you go. I wouldn't pay too much attention to that, to be honest. De Bruyne to Tavernier Clive, but will fund Neto for a -4. I would go for Tavernier out of the two. Again, I've said this so many times this week. A lot of Bournemouth fans think he should be dropped, but his minutes have been the best out of all the more attacking Bournemouth midfielders. So he's probably where I would go. Let's have a quick look here. What am I looking up? Sorry. Okay, Zabani for Saliba for a -4 if I already have Gabriel. Free hit in 29. I don't mind getting rid of Saliba, but it could go horribly wrong. I mean, you don't need Saliba for Game Week 30. In 31, he does have Luton at home, though. If all the FPL content creators played in the Premier League, who do you think would score the most points? Didn't Ross? I think Ross is pretty good at football, right? So him off the top of my head certainly score more than me. Not sure I'm getting around that pitch very fast, to be honest with you. Double Arsenal defence or start Branthwaite and drops. No, I'd probably just start double Arsenal defence, I think. Over Branthwaite anyway. Bench 2, Gabriel, Saliba, Estepinian, Foden, Gross, Palmer. Saliba and Estepinian probably. Start Neto or Palmer. Palmer. Nick, gifted a membership. Thank you very much, as always. Appreciated. My wildcard is only 6 transfers. Sort of feel I've wasted it now. Have to wait and see. You sure it's only 6? Nothing more you can do? Am I concerned by my defence for Game Week 30? Yeah, but not enough to worry about it. Not much I can do about it. There's going to be a week where things don't go to plan. I just got to hope. That it's damage limitation. Porro, Watkins to Zabani, Morris for a -4 allows salary 1 move in 30. If you're free hit 29, maybe. If not, I wouldn't do it. I would probably triple captain Solanke, I think, yeah. I might be benching Saka in Game Week 30, although it probably means playing Fernandes instead. I'm not so sure about that. There you go. 8 transfers. Happy days. Worth De Bruyne to Son or Barkley from -4, not free hit 29. I think if you're going to do it next week anyway, I'd probably just get Son now, yeah. I think he's better than De Bruyne this week. I want to kind of reiterate, though. Like, it's not like De Bruyne... It's not like De Bruyne is terrible or anything, right? It's not like you should be thinking, Christ, I've got to get rid of him at all costs. But I think to go Son -4 could be worth it. It's always tricky knowing whether those -4s are going to work in the week you take them, though. Like, you could just put it off until next week. Wildcard draft ready. My non-wildcard team difference to yours is Walker, Kabori, Hwang, Gordon instead of Doughty, Bradley, Palmer, Bruno. Would you do it? I mean... Bradley doesn't matter, right? I could easily bench Bruno, so that's not really a problem. So probably not. Like, you could just play Kabori and hope for the best. Don't think you need a wild card, but it's probably close-ish. Late to the stream again. Working Saturdays is crap. Flecken for Neto. I think I would probably do it. Senesi to Zabani. And Haaland to Morris for a -4. Yeah, I'd probably do it if you're not free hit 29. This is probably already answered, but what do you think about triple captain Solanke? Yeah, a few times now. I would probably do it. Foden away to Liverpool or Tony away to Arsenal? I don't know. That's the tough one. I think I would probably play Tony for the penalties, but he's got the harder fixture. It's really tough. Would you go Porro or Udogie? Madison or Bailey on wildcard? I'd go for Madison over Bailey, I think. I still think that Porro is better than Udogie, but I'm not sure the price difference at this point is worth it. I'd probably go Udogie. Gordon to Bowen or Barkley? I'm going to say Bowen. Not often that I go against the double game week. Kudus or Bowen on Wildcard 28? Definitely Bowen. Definitely Bowen if you can afford it. Kudus is a bit cheaper, so keep that in mind, but you live in a world where you're considering Zabani over... I mean, if I had Zabani, I'd probably play him over Bowen, if that helps. Captain Saka or Haaland, no double game week players. Saka, I guess. Do you lose two... After you free hit a wild card, you only ever have one transfer. So if you have 2 free transfers going into game week 29, then you free hit, for example, you'd only have 1 in game week 30. So yes, you would lose 1. Start Bradley or Ake. I think I'd start the guy at home, basically. Martinelli or Watkins? Definitely Watkins. It's hurting me to bench Foden. I honestly, I think most people who are benching Foden should probably play him because I don't think they can deal with the aftermath of it going wrong. Like, it will feel great if it goes right, but it's going to feel horrible if it goes wrong. And I think, honestly, I think an underrated thing that's not talked about in FPL is being able to be at peace with your decisions, and liking your team. I think it's an underrated thing in FPL. I think sometimes people buy players they know are going to wind them up, and then you just end up making bad decisions later on. Again, I said this earlier. I know exactly what is in store when Foden outscores Fernandes. It is loads of comments, loads of tweets, loads of comments on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, loads of tweets, probably on WhatsApp as well, about how stupid it was, how it's Man United bias. I know that's coming, and that's fine because I'll just ignore it all. Are you prepared for it to go wrong? That's all I would say if you're benching Foden. Will Kabori play both games? I don't think there's a high chance of that. I guess it's possible, though. Use bench boost already. Triple captain Solanke this week or save it. I think I'd still use it, but I think you could definitely make a case to save it if you wanted to. -4 for Doughty, Bournemouth defender, Bradley or Walker bench. Walker, I think, on the bench. Bournemouth defender if you're free hit 29, Doughty if you're not, basically. I'd start Foden over Louise, I think. What do I think about benching Watkins over Foden? No chance I would do that, I don't think. I think Watkins will get more chances against Spurs than Foden will against Liverpool, essentially. Like, look, Foden's been brilliant, but let's not forget Watkins had a fantastic season. Spurs are not a watertight defence. Like, I'd rather go up against the Spurs defence than Liverpool. Is Hoyland mandatory in a wildcard 31? Maybe, but probably not. I mean, almost certainly not, I would say, especially if you've got free hit. Richarlison to Barkley -4 to bench Louise. No free hit 29. No, I'd probably just play Louise, I think. Liverpool is Foden's favourite opponent. You sure it's not Man United? I've got the same team as you, except I have Foden playing and Palmer on the bench. Do you think it's a bit of a 50-50 toss-up? I'm not sure it is 50-50. I think Palmer is the better option, right? He's got an easier fixture and he's on penalties. So I do think Palmer is better than Foden. I don't think it's 50-50. I mean, it might not work out like that, right? I mean, again, Foden, because I've already benched Foden for a hat-trick, so you could easily be benching Foden for a brace, but I don't know. It's not just in FPL, it's found everywhere. I work in finance and they teach us in behavioral finances that humans feel twice as pain for the same amount of downside than they feel good for upside. Okay. So what you're saying is if you play Foden and it works, you won't feel like I don't know how to, I think I know what you're saying. I don't know how to articulate that though. So you're saying if you play Foden and it works, you'll feel like, I don't know, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, you'd feel like 4 happy. But if you bench Foden and it doesn't work out, you'll feel like 8 bad. Is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying. Yeah, I think honestly, I think that is for FPL. I think for a lot of people, I kind of agree. Yeah, and if it works out, you'll feel great. But if it doesn't, I think you'll feel horrible benching Foden because his ownership is so high. The problem with benching someone like that is when he does well, it'll be everywhere because everyone owns him. And I think people, and it's not just how people then feel about it; it's also the decisions they'll make after that. The regret is twice as powerful as the satisfaction. Yeah, that's you should make videos. You should be streaming right now. You should be streaming. I don't know how to say words and speak and stuff. Alex, 19-month member, thank you very much. Hwang to Tavernier from -4 or play De Bruyne. Probably just played De Bruyne. I'll probably just play De Bruyne. It's quite close though. Haaland to Morris from -4. I've got no free hit 29. Yes, best sub 7 million midfielder, free hit 29. Palmer. Nicholas, thank you very much for becoming a member. Who to bench? Gross, Tony, or Louise? Ooh. Oh, Louise or Tony? I guess Tony because it's Arsenal, but again, hate that. I'd play Kabori over Van Dijk, I think. Game week 29 free hit. Is it a good idea? It definitely is for some teams. Not everyone's teams, as we know. Sell Foden and buy Tavernier from -4 to start by benching Haaland. No. -4 is to bench Haaland. I mean, -4 Haaland to Morris, like if you're not free hit 29, fair enough. But to bench, not so sure about that. Foden to Barkley for a -4. Foden to Barkley for a -4. Already done De Bruyne to Bowen and Foden to Barkley double gaming. Who are you benching though? Maybe, but it depends who you're benching. Gross or Foden? Gross this week, I think. I mean, there's not many players I would bench Gross for, I think. Do you know what? If Tony scores in the 1-0 win, I won't hate it. Because Saka is so highly owned anyway, it doesn't matter. And if you're only playing at the moment, maybe it's different this week because of the double game week, but generally, over the last few weeks, if you've only got one Arsenal defender, you've probably wanted them to concede. Because so many people have double ups. Chong or Barkley, who to buy this week? I'd probably go Barkley just for the minutes. Like the guarantee minutes. Only 23 minutes to get or just under 24 minutes to get your decisions locked in, by the way. I am pretty set. I'm feeling pretty calm. I've not had like a panicky deadline decision for quite a while now. Where transfers always locked in earlier. Random question: how come on the FPL show your camera was much higher than now? Because of the green screen. Basically, you can just crop it down. I mean, it looks like this, but actually it's the same angle as on the FPL show, apart from they're not green screening me. Think you should consider bench boost? Nah, because I'm going to wildcard late. Play one of Taylor, Branthwaite, or Walker. West Ham away for Taylor. Everton away to Man United. Do you know what? I don't know. Branthwaite, maybe? Saw you on the FPL show yesterday. Happy days. Happy days. Been a little while. Where did we get to here? Only Solanke doubler this week. Bring one more in for free or two for -4. Trippier to Doughty, Zabani, Dubravka to Neto. I think the -4 is okay in that case, yeah. Again, Doughty if you're not free, hit 29. Zabani if you are. -8, Tavernier and Doughty in for Hwang and Torres. I mean, if you're having to play Hwang, then yeah, I guess so. It's kind of a bit mixed there, because if you're free hit 29, you don't really need Doughty for -4, I would say. But if you are free hit 29, Tavernier's better. I think it's okay-ish, yeah. Bench boost with Dubravka, Gordon, Mikalenko, and Bradley? No, definitely not. Not for me. I mean, Chelsea score, I think. So do City. So do Man United, I think, personally. I'll be benching an injured Hwang for Barkley -4. Yes, but you... okay, then yeah, I guess so in that case. Would you bench Foden or Gross Foden? Play Porro or regular or -4 for Doughty? I'd probably just play Porro. If you're not free hitting 29, I'd get Doughty. Do you think sometime in the future we would have academic research in FPL, maybe even university degrees? Academic research, I don't know, maybe. University degrees, I doubt it, to be honest. I don't think the game's that big, really, or that that intricate necessarily. What is your logic for free hit 29? I've got 5 players that play in Game Week 29. Billericay update. We lost a hashtag 4-2. Oof, top 4, nice. I'm not considering bench boost. No, I need a new defender. Already 3 Bournemouth, free hitting 29. Gusto, maybe if you want someone cheap. Thoughts on a watch along? Liverpool versus City. Can't happen. Sorry. Don't fancy taking out a student loan over Double Game Week 34. Christ, student loans are so massive these days in the UK. Another Foden hat trick. I hope that doesn't happen. Oh, Seb's coming back. Hashtag could have had 8 versus Billericay. Oof. There's a bit of beef. Billericay and hashtag United beef. Bench Gordon or Douglas Luiz? Gordon, I think. Best Spurs defender to buy: Romero, Van der Ven, Udogi, or Porto. My phone does that too. I think Udogi, just because of the price. I still think that Porro is probably slightly better than Udogi, but I just think the price difference would make me go there now. I think Porro will start, yeah. Free hit 29, triple captain 34, wildcard 35, bench boost 37. That could work, yeah. Could have had 8. I wonder what the XG was. Would the XG have matched? Would that have matched up? De Bruyne to Salah, Bowen, or Son this week? Salah, no, Son, I think. Maybe Salah if you're free hit 29, to just have him from 30 onwards. But what it's worth, there are a lot of FPL academic research articles. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of people at uni that do stuff on FPL. I just don't think you'd have a FPL university degree, right? But there'll be people in loads of different fields doing stuff on FPL, like psychology. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff on that. I'm sure Ross has done that. No Man United team news that I've seen, but if I had to predict, I think that Onana and Fernandes both start. Sell Walker for Zabani -4 and play him over Dalot. I probably would, but again, it's one of those moves that may not work out, right? I think a lot of these Bournemouth -4s are quite close. But I think for the fixtures afterwards, after 29, for the potential double in 34, I would do it. Bench 1, Foden, De Bruyne, Gross, Watkins, Bowen, Saka. De Bruyne, probably. Would be a statistics degree with an FPL option. I'd take it. Possibly. I mean, I don't really know too much how university degrees work. I just know I've got one. It cost me a lot of money and I've never used it. That's not to say I think university is bad. I definitely don't think that. I just maybe I could. I mean, I say maybe I should have used mine better, but then I'm doing this, so maybe that's actually fine. I've always got that degree. It's always in the back pocket, you know. Bench 1, Haaland, Foden, or Kluivert. I don't think you can bench Kluivert if you've got him, so probably Foden. Jojo, 6 months member, thank you very much. Who do you think has the best chance of not coming back for Game Week 30 to take their respective fullbacks' place, Kelly or Aaron? I think Kelly. Because Kelly could play centre-back, and if he's not going to sign a contract, which I think I saw, I could be wrong, then Kirkes might keep his place. I think when Aaron's comes back, he goes straight back in. But, you know, injuries, sometimes you might be managed if the other players are playing well. I think it's more likely that Kirkes keeps his place. Like, let's just say that Kelly and Aaron's both come back at the same time. I think it's more likely that Kirkes keeps his place. But if there's any Bournemouth fans in the chat that want to tell me I'm wrong, I'm more than open to it. I'm not a Bournemouth expert by any means. Did your degree help you in your previous role with EA? Not really. I mean, it's a business degree. Not really. I think having it always looks okay on the CV, I guess. But do you know what I mean? I don't think you really need it for that job. Did I go to GMIT? No. I went to UClan. -4 Estepinian and Raya out for Neto and Kirkes. Potentially okay, yeah, especially if you've got a wild card to get Raya back in later. Wild card, hurt squad value, Barkley or Bowen. Bowen if you can afford it. If not, Barkley. Bench 1, Son, Saka, Bowen, Odegaard, Palmer. I don't think you can... Oh, my God, I dare. I think you've got to bench Odegaard out of those. Estepinian or Udogi. I'd play Estepinian this week. Would you do Taylor to Porro for a -4? Don't think Taylor is getting anything in Game Week 29. Not free hit 29. I think Porro is... Porro is better, yeah, but is there not a different defender you can sell and just get the 1 or 2 pointer from Taylor? De Bruyne out for Salah -4. I'm free hitting 29. Potentially okay. I probably wouldn't do it though. Yeah, university degree and the second wildcard. 2 back pockets needed. I didn't go to uni in Ireland. I actually went to UE and then dropped out after 6 weeks, and then a few years later I went to UCLan. So I racked up a lot of debt. And in between I did like a college degree that was basically like a university level-ish, and that also cost a bunch of money. So I had a massive debt for very little to show for it afterwards. I have a history degree in work security for BT. But do you know what? It's not just the degree, right? University is a good time. Isn't it Buey? No, I think it's UE, right? That's what it was when I was there. What's with the school stuff? Who cares? It's not actually school, it's university. Anyway, who cares? You're right. Who does care? Who cares about anything, right? FPL is pointless, you know? Worth taking a hit to bench Taylor for either Doughty, Zabani, or Gabriel. Yes, probably. Zabani if you're free hitting 29, Doughty if you're not. I think I would take a hit to bench Taylor. Yeah. Isn't a bench like yours worth a bench boost? It's worth considering for sure. But I think I'm going to wait for the double in 37. Just I for once I want to dream of that 4 double game week a bench boost in 37. Will it work out? We'll have to see. Are there any big differences between 30 and 31 wildcard? Well, 31 you skip the Arsenal City game in 30. And most of your players, if you've got like Villa players, etc., they got a good fixture in Game Week 30. I mean, some might say that everything is pointless, right? But that's probably a conversation we don't need to get into right now. Is it a high-risk captain in Solanke considering he's an injury concern? Not really. I just think with Solanke, he's so far clear of everyone else, it's just worth that risk. Why don't I bench Palmer instead of Foden? No chance. I'd rather bench Fernandes. You watch Haaland go under the radar and get a hat-trick against Liverpool because of all this hype for Solanke. Could happen. If playing gross, would you bench Palmer, Gordon, or Foden? Probably Gordon. What's the maximum negative points you think is acceptable if a person's not free hitting? I mean, I hate to give a cop-out answer, but it really depends on who you're selling and buying. You might have a load of injuries. A -12 might be acceptable. For other people, it might be a -4. Do I think I'll still be doing FPL content in 5-10 years? I don't know. Maybe I'll be doing streams about university degrees. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. You never know, right? I've never, some people have they know exactly what they want to do as soon as they leave school. I've never known. I know what I don't want to do. I can list you off 100 jobs I don't want to do. I don't know what I want to do. So who knows? In 5 years, we'll see. No bias, bench Foden or Gross. What do you mean? No, people always say bias. It's just nonsense, right? I would choose Gross because he's got a good home fixture and he's on penalties. Why would I be biased against Foden? I'm hoping Foden wins England the Euros. I took a -12 for 5 double game week players. Would you bench boost to offset the cut? No, that's not the right way of looking at it. You should only bench boost if you don't think you're going to have a better option later on. Areola, Saliba, Gusto, Garnacho. I mean, you're close. You could do it. You could do it. Especially if you don't think you're going to be able to set up a good bench boost later on. You don't even know what Zabani looks like. I mean, I've learned how to spell and say Zabani in the last couple of weeks. I've learned how to spell Tavernier, although I kind of already knew how to say that, I guess. I know what Kirkes looks like now too. Do I want to do FPL entire time? I don't even know what I want to do next year, really. I know you should have a plan. Does anyone else just not have a plan? just roll with the punches, you know, see what happens. Could I see myself sitting here talking about whether a -4 is worth it for a Luton player when I'm 60? I mean, probably not, right? But you never know. Maybe I'll be the oldest content person at that time. Triple captain Solanke and play Palmer, Douglas. I'd definitely play Palmer, and I would triple captain Solanke, yeah. I did that one. Would you bench boost Kaminsky, Foden, White, and Van der Ven? Probably not, but again, it's close. Start Maddison or Palmer. Palmer. Bench Son, Saka, Palmer, or Bowen for Barkley. I mean, that. If you've got Barkley already, I wouldn't want to bench Son, Saka, or Palmer. I'd bench Bowen probably without the penalties, but Burnley's a great fixture. I wouldn't really want to bench any of them. You're making 50k a stream. You will retire. Yeah, I guess I could retire in a few months, really. Too busy planning for game week 29 to think about planning my life. I mean, there is probably some truth to that, yeah. How can I support England over Ireland? I know. Well, because I'm English, basically. I was going to make a joke then, but yeah. Cheap alternative for a Bournemouth defender. How cheap do you need to go? They're super cheap. Is Pedro Neto a better choice than Bruno this week? I mean, I guess he's a slight doubt over minutes, right? Because he did go off last week. But is Neto better than Fernandes? Maybe. Slightly. Oh, I think Fernandes, if he gets a penalty, though, we're laughing. What's the trickiest Premier League name to pronounce? I don't know off the top of my head. Probably the Sheffield United defender. And I haven't had to say his name very often, so I think one name that I always try and avoid saying is Iraola, which I think is how you say it. But whenever I do a video and I have to say it like as part of a sentence, I always get it wrong or I overthink it. So I keep saying like, if we hear before the deadline about Bournemouth, in the Bournemouth press conference, the Bournemouth manager. If you've noticed, if you pay attention, I don't say Iraola a lot. I guess the more I say it, the better I will get it. It's not like that difficult of a name to say. I just haven't said it that much. You got less than 10 minutes now, by the way, until the deadline. So make sure you get your transfers and stuff locked in. Can you see yourself as a pundit on Radio 5's Monday Night Club? I guess not. Probably not. I don't really know what that is, to be honest. John, what do you reckon to my bench boost? Areola, Maddison, Udogie, Gabriel. Again, I think it's pretty good for a single game week. If you want to go for it, go for it. I would hope that if you've got wildcard 35, 36, that bench boost 37 will be better, but it is not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. It was locked in 1 hour ago. I mean, I've been locked in for about 12 hours now, I guess. Did my transfers last night. Would you take a hit for Solanke, for Marseille to Bowen? Martinez is a bit of a doubt, right? I don't know what Arteta said about him. He had that like cut on his. I probably would, to be honest. Free hit 29. Pickford and De Bruyne to Neto and Son from -8. I don't think you need to do the De Bruyne move necessarily. I think you can just wait till game week 30, then reassess. Maybe even go without Son if it doesn't work for you. Just seeing if there's any news about Man City or whatever. Sorry, Man City. Any early team news for Man United? No early team news. No one's interested in Man United news, apparently. What's this I've got here? Don't buy Martinelli from... Yeah, no one should be buying Martinelli. It's whether or not to sell him. I think I probably would. Dubravka, Garnacho, Van Heck, Taylor, bench. No wildcard left and free hit in 29. Yeah, you could maybe bench boost that. I still feel like you'll get a better bench boost opportunity later down the line, though. I did say I sold Dubravka instead of Areola because Areola's like guaranteed to keep playing. Dubravka will lose his place to Pope. It might be a mistake. If Dubravka gets all the way through to game week 34 and Pope's not back and Newcastle double, I will regret selling Dubravka. Vice captain Watkins or Zabani? Zabani probably. Is Hwang to Son Bailey for a -4 worth it when it means I'll bench Foden? I would say probably not. I would just probably play Foden. I mean, Son maybe if you're not going to get free hit in 29. If you're going to do that move anyway for a -4, then I would just do it this week, yes. Play Gross or Neto, Gross. Foden versus Sarabia benching. Sarabia bench all week, but he's also... Yeah, I think I would play Sarabia, to be honest. Good fixture. Could go wrong. I mean, I got to be honest, the closer we get to the deadline, the amount of times I've said I'd probably bench Foden, it's making me think there's a lot of pain ahead in this game week for many of us. Play De Bruyne or Haaland. I mean, it's Haaland. Is it possible to see the most optimal team from game week 1 to 38 at the end of the season? So people like Sertaup usually like reverse engineer and try and work out what the most points you could have got from 1 to 38. Like if you'd made all the best transfers you could and had the right captains at all times, they'll usually do that, yeah. I think they'll also try and do there's usually a team that you can set up, in hindsight obviously, but there's usually a team you can set up at the start to not make any transfers that will win FPL or get close to it. But it's always something weird. It's always like Haaland captain and then like this random player vice captain just because there'll be certain weeks where Haaland missed out where some random player ended up doing really well. I'd have to go back and check, but that's usually what happens. It's usually something like that. But people will work that stuff out for sure. Play Gross or Neto. Gross did that one, didn't I? Morris for Haaland. Sure, if you're not free hitting 29. Bench one, Foden, Garnacho, one of the Arsenal centre-backs. I'd bench one of the Arsenal centre-backs. Bench Garnacho or Foden. For me, I'd probably bench Foden. Again, I don't know how many more times I can say this now. There's obviously some risk there. If you're not prepared to take that risk, don't do it. Triple captain Solanke. Yes. Eshipinian and Walker to Doughty and Zabani -4. Yes, probably. Especially if you're not free hitting 29, then Doughty's quite good for that too. Bench one, Palmer, Foden, or Gordon. Gordon, bring in Neto or Tavernier for a -4. Probably Neto. I think Neto could be useful after 29. I don't think Tavernier is going to be that useful. So in isolation, that's probably the way around I'd do it. Start Cash. My back three is Cash, Botman, and Doughty. Would you change any of them for Taylor, Palmer? Well, I'd play Palmer, right? Over any of them. Is a -8 for Ariota Neto worth it? No Bournemouth defence. I mean, it's a -4 basically, right? I've done it. Is it worth it? We'll find out. It might not be. In fact, when are West Ham playing? Oh, West Ham aren't playing until Sunday. Oh my god, this is a nightmare. So by tonight, right, I'm going to know that Fernandes is blanked and I've got Foden on my bench. And I'm going to know that Neto has conceded somehow to Sheffield United and that Areola is going to go and get like a 10-pointer against Burnley. This is not going to be a fun weekend at all. It's going to be terrible. For FPL, anyway. Isn't there a risk Solanke pulls up 20 minutes into the first game? Yes. Yep. Start Cat. Oh, yeah, I did that one already. Play Saliba or Porro. Saliba. I think double Arsenal defence is pretty good. I think we've basically answered everything. Maybe we just sit here in silence for 3 minutes now. I don't think there's any questions I've not already answered at least once. So if you've got time before the deadline, you can go back and watch the whole stream. I would play Foden over Watkins. I've got no interest in doing that. The only player that I would bench for Foden is Fernandes, and I'm going to take the risk. Tell us a nice joke. I don't really know any jokes, to be honest. Just not a very funny person. What do I do when the season finishes? Relax. Wait for the next season to start. Go on holiday. Free hit 29, double Bournemouth defence, or bring Doughty in and Neto. I go double Bournemouth defence on free hit 29. For sure. Any leaks? Not that I've seen. I've never went to uni. It's one of those where you appreciate the zero debt, but you learn life and social skills at a vital time in your life where you'd want those skills going into work. Yeah, but I think uni was cool too. It was a lot of money though. Do I play any games? I'm currently working through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Sometimes play World of Warcraft too. You must be earning good money if you're able to take the summer off. I mean, I definitely wouldn't complain, but also it's not like the whole summer gets taken off, right? It's basically the end of May until end of June. It's like a month, probably, which, again, is great, but it's not like I take off many weeks outside of that, you know, apart from international breaks, I suppose. Like, by July, you're back into FPL. Like, the summer's the busiest part, apart from June. Can you do a video for people who've used all their chips and how to tackle? Like, not really, right? Because to be honest with you, it wouldn't do very well because most people have their chips. But ultimately, you can. It's hard to do a video like with a broad overview of what to do with no chips. Essentially, you're just balancing things a little bit more. Like, you're more likely to go for Luton over Bournemouth players this week. You might have to go for less players in Double Game Week 34. Just all stuff like that, basically. Bench Gross or Douglas Luiz? Douglas Luiz, I think. Right. 30 seconds to go. I'm just going to double check that I have got this locked in. Hang on. Let's go back here. Okay. Vice captain on Neto. Captain Solanke. Benching Foden like an idiot. Playing Bruno Fernandes. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Got 21 seconds to go. I got 21 seconds to go. I do know that, by the way, but I didn't want to carry on singing. Cottage cheese or coleslaw? Oh, I went for a phase of eating. I think there was like a phase where cottage cheese was just seen as this really good thing to eat for like losing weight and stuff. Christ, it is awful. So definitely coleslaw. Was literally going to swap Solanke for Haaland captain. I think Haaland will destroy Liverpool. I know you weren't. Come on. You weren't going to do that. Time to hit the button. No, I'm not going to free hit. There's no point in free hitting right now. Solanke triple captain. What have you done? Like, honestly, again, triple captain is just worth one extra score. I wouldn't worry about it so much, to be honest. Dead ending basically means making transfers up until a certain game week, but not worrying about anything after that game week because either the season's going to end, but that's not really when people use it. It's when you're going to wildcard the week afterwards. So, like, for example, right, people that are going to wildcard in 35, they will talk about dead ending their team into 34. So they won't worry about any of the fixtures from 35 onwards. They're only worried about getting through till 34. Essentially, that's what it means. How much in the bank do you reckon on free hit? A lot. Quite a lot. Chuck a few spoonfuls in the pan when making scrambled eggs and you won't even notice it. But like, why I don't need it in scrambled eggs, right? It's not cottage cheese. Either way, it's rubbish. Anyway, I can't sit here and talk about cottage cheese, unfortunately. I've got to go because I'm going to go and drive down now and watch my son play football. Get there before kickoff. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed that, give it a like. Hit that subscribe button. I will be doing a knee-jerk stream tomorrow. It will probably be back to the normal time of 8 o'clock. Maybe slightly later, but I'll definitely be doing a knee-jerk stream tomorrow. And obviously all the usual content next week as well. So enjoy your weekends. Hopefully we get green arrows. Hopefully Bruno Fernandes outscores Foden. We'll see. We'll see. It'll probably be really bad. Yeah. Thank you very much. I will catch you again later.